as they were doing all these trillions of dollars in spending cuts, well, at least they also cut defense, which is so bloated and out of control, and 59% of discretionary spending is defense. It's gargantuan, right? And people thought, well, the super committee couldn't come to an agreement, so at least half the cuts of the new round will come from defense. Wrong again, Bob. I told you, they're never going to let that happen. And so now there's an article in Politico saying Congress rushes to disarm triggers. The triggers are the ones that would trigger the defense spending cuts. They're not going to have. By the way, the other half of the cuts are in economic spending. Those cut away. Who cares, right? So here's what Joe Lieberman says. Quote, ultimately, I think there's a very strong feeling that it's not going to go into effect. Of course, you think we're going to cut defense? Now, Joe Lieberman is so-called independent, doesn't caucus with the Republicans. Real Democrats despise him. So what power does Joe Lieberman have? Are you kidding me? Whichever side Joe Lieberman is on is the side that's going to win in the Senate. It's the side that is totally against the American people 9 out of 10 times and totally the side that will win. Because Joe Lieberman is a magnet for money. And he's like, okay, I'll sell out my position for money wherever it is. And that side that sells out for money always wins. So as soon as Lieberman said that, it's over. It's over. There's no defense. You think they're going to do those trigger defense spending cuts? You don't know anything. Here's Cord Sterling. He's VP Legislative Affairs for Aerospace Industries Association. In other words, the guys who are the defense contractors. Quote, the Department of Defense just can't sustain additional cuts beyond what they've already taken without seriously jeopardizing the national security capability. We spend 42% of the entire world spending on the military. The United States, entire world military spending, we do 42% of it. But apparently, if we cut it just a little bit, that would jeopardize our national security. Canada's on our border. They're about to take us over. Hurry up and give more to the bloated defense contractors. That's what their lobbyist says. So how about John Boehner, a guy who's powerful, who's the Speaker of the House? Are the defense cuts going to happen? Quote, no one really wants to go there. They're not going to happen. You think they're going to happen? You don't know anything about politics. Money drives politics. But don't worry. Here comes California Republican Buck McKeon to save the day. So how's he going to do that? Well, he has a different proposal, and that he's already collected a lot of co-sponsors for. So instead of cutting defense spending, guess what they're going to do? They're going to cut the jobs of federal workers. Why take it from incredibly rich defense contractors on planes and submarines we don't need when you could take it from the average working guy? And shockingly enough, it turns out there's a lot of momentum for that in Congress. They're like, oh, you want to fire people in the middle of tremendous unemployment? We're in. Stovetop, we're staying. So they got a new proposal. No, we're not going to harm the richest people in the country. We're going to harm the middle class. You work for a living, you're in the federal government, fantastic. I got a bill that's going to cut your pay, and that is going to basically, in essence, fire you at some point because they are thinking of cutting 10% of the workforce. Great, more unemployment. Wins for everybody. Towards the end of this Politico article, they say, oh, right, the domestic spending. There was also domestic spending cuts. There's one piece of legislation, not backed by very many people at all, proposed by Representative Towns from New York, that would shield hospitals and other healthcare providers from cuts that are set to hit Medicare. First of all, it doesn't even help you. It helps hospitals. I'm sure everybody gets paid for that too. But that's kind of an afterthought. Oh, helping the American people with the spending cuts. Well, of course we're not going to do that. Get out of here. Oh, hospitals, maybe. Go ahead and bring that in. But overall, our main priority is make sure the defense contractors get paid and that the American people pay for it. Welcome to Washington. Gee, I wonder why we have an Occupy movement. I wonder why we have a Tea Party movement. I wonder why Congress, again, in a new poll out today, 11% approval rate. Because they don't work for us. They work for the sons of bitches who pay them.